Atlanta Falcons have won. They move on to 4-0 in the division. Buccaneers fall to 4-4. The Falcons are 5-3, by the way, in the division. Or just in their general record. Look, okay, I have a lot of thoughts on this game. Look, the Buccaneers tried to make it a ball game right at the end. It was too little, too late. And kudos to the Bucs for fighting back, for bouncing back. That's cool. You know, again, your final score was 31-26. But this is a game that Tampa Bay should not have won. I am happy that the team fought back, but that doesn't win you football games, unfortunately. And the Bucs just made too many mistakes in the second half. Or really just in the game in general. A fumble on the opening drive, on the second play of the game, Rachaad White fumbles. The Falcons go and score a touchdown, starting from the Buccaneers' 43-yard line. Later in the game, Baker throws 2 interceptions. They're bad interceptions, in my opinion. We'll talk about those in a moment. You had a horrible fake punt, and it was what it was. The Buccaneers just made way too many mistakes. The Falcons had a missed field goal at the end, which the Bucs had a chance, but they had no timeouts, and it was just too little too late. If they would have had a little bit more time, honestly, if they would have had maybe even one timeout, maybe you could have looked at the Bucs possibly winning this game, but that was not the case. Let's dive into the stats real quick. Baker Mayfield, 37 of 50, 330 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. The 2 interceptions were bad. They were bad. There's no way to, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Both of them were just him trying to force the ball. One was on a flea flicker to Ryan Miller. One was on a ball to Jalen McMillan. I thought that they were both just bad balls, underthrown and forced in those situations. And I was worried about that. The Bucs went behind early in this game. Going into the second half, it was 24-17. The defense was not playing well at that point. They allowed 24 first half points. I'm sure Baker might have thought, like, okay, well, I've got to try and force some stuff to happen here to keep up with the Falcons' offense, and forcing that resulted in interceptions. I was worried about that, and that's what ended up happening. Baker did have some good moments, I thought, but it was just a couple of bad interceptions was one of the contributing factors in sealing the deal in this game. The Falcons scored. They didn't score off of any of the interceptions, which is good, but it does take away scoring opportunities from the Bucs, which is not good. I thought the running backs had good games. Rachaad White had the fumble early on, which was bad. The Falcons scored a touchdown off of that fumble. Okay. After that, I thought Rachaad White did good. He had 29 rushing yards in this game. He had 38 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. I thought that was good to see. I was happy to see that. Bucky Irving, I thought, looked great. He had 88 total scrimmage yards today, 44 rushing yards, 40 receiving yards. We didn't see any of Sean Tucker today. He had only 2 attempts for 3 yards. He had 1 reception for 12 yards. In terms of Baker Mayfield, also had 11 rushing yards. In terms of the receiving game, K-Don had a great day. 81 receiving yards, two receiving touchdowns off of 10 targets. Raheem Jarrett, 3 targets, 3 catches, 58 yards. I could see them using him more going forward. As I said, the running backs both had good days receiving. Jalen McMillan had 7 targets, 4 catches, 35 yards. Trey Palmer, 2 targets, 2 catches, 29 yards. Ryan Miller had 5 targets, 3 catches for 19 yards. Sterling Shepard, 5 targets, 3 catches, 18 yards. To me, if the Bucs feel like they can still compete for a playoff spot this year, they will look to trade for a receiver. If they don't feel like they're going to be able to legitimately compete for a playoff spot this year, they will not trade for a wide receiver. That's how I feel about that. Defensively, look, they clamped down in the second half. which is good. You like to see that in the second half. I mean, they forced 2 punts, a safety, and they had a missed field goal, which is good. That first half defense was atrocious. And in my opinion, and this defense is not good enough to win games. It's not. I mean, it's just they're not playing complimentary football. KJ Britt, 10 total tackles today. He's not good. He's not good. I thought Christian Izien made a couple of plays, which was nice. Honestly, I would rather see JJ Russell out there rather than KJ Britt. Tyreek Thunderbird got benched after the first half. I felt that was the right decision. Things got better whenever Josh Hayes was out there. I think that you should see Josh Hayes as your cornerback 2 going forward. The pass rush is still non-existent. CJ Brewer had 2 sacks today. That was great, but they can't get after the quarterback. They cannot. They cannot. I understand that Kirk Cousins was throwing the ball quick in this game, but he was 23 of 29, 276 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. This defense is not good enough to have your football team be able to play winning football. And it's showing a very clear lack of depth, a very, very clear lack of depth. KJ Britt is not a starting caliber linebacker. The cornerbacks, besides Zion McCollum and maybe Josh Hayes, I don't know, are not starting caliber cornerbacks right now. No help has been brought in. The pass rushers are not starting caliber pass rushers. Right now, none of them are. I'm talking about JTS. I'm talking about Yaya Diaby. I'm talking about Anthony Nelson. I'm talking about Chris Braswell. None of those guys are starting caliber pass rushers right now. Also, one of the biggest blunders of the game was the fake punt at your own 38. I don't know why the Bucs called that play. I do not know. It resulted in a touchdown for the Falcons and made it a 2-score game at that point. And then Baker went on to throw another interception after that. The fake punt was horrible. I mean, that was probably one of the biggest blunders of the game. That's on coaching as well. I don't know who made that decision. I don't know if it was Todd Bowles. I don't know if it was the special teams coordinator. Whoever did make that decision should get reprimanded for that and asked about it, because it was a crappy decision. It was just a crappy decision. And the Bucs couldn't get out of their own way in the second half. Again, 2 interceptions, a fake punt that just turned over on downs. You're not going to win football games by making mistakes like that. And it's frustrating football. It's frustrating football, man. So I think that this shows that the Bucs, I mean, it just doesn't show. It's just a fact at this point. The Bucs are not going to win the NFC South. Unless you get a monumental collapse from the Atlanta Falcons, the Bucs are not going to win the NFC South now. The Falcons are 4-0 in divisional play. They've swept the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs have a win over the New Orleans Saints, but so do the Falcons. So this is, unless it takes a monumental non-divisional collapse by the Atlanta Falcons, the Bucs aren't winning this division. And you'll have to hope for a wild card, which the NFC North all have a better record than the Bucs right now. So it's going to be an uphill climb to win a wild card spot at this point, because I'm going to go into the mindset throughout the remainder of the season that you're not going to win the division. So it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose in frustrating fashion. It's been the definition of this team for the past couple of weeks. I understand that injuries are a huge concern. I get that. But your depth, specifically on defense, has been exposed now for the 3rd week in a row, in my opinion. Really the 3rd time out of 4 weeks. this defense is not helping you win football games. It's helping you lose football games. And something's got to change if the Bucs want to try and get a wild card spot, because at this point they are not winning the division. So, guys, let me, it is what it is, folks. Move on. And now the Buccaneers will have a matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. So, guys, thanks so much for watching this video, and because this is going to be right after the game. And tough loss, man. Really, really tough, frustrating loss.